All right. Well, hey, Shrewdness listeners, welcome to the show.
Yeah,
We got Chiz, Dex, and Lou. I'm Prue, and we are the Shrewdness. We're bringing you all kinds of information for your Guillotine Fantasy Football League and some Chiefs and Royals and other kind of Midwestern sports, uh, exciting news and all that kind of stuff. So,
I mean,
welcome to the show.
quite honestly, we bring the boom. Is what I would say.
Boom. And
We
I gotta
bring
say,
the boom.
The news and the boom.
75% of us still doing great at giving you advice.
True.
on any given
True.
week.
On any given week,
That's right.
75%.
We're right.
And then-
75% of the time.
Just a little dig.
100% of the
C
time.
plus, man, C plus.
And then the other one gets you money in betting. So that's good.
All right, we are big fans of trash talk, as you might be able to tell. We're also big fans of Guillotine Fantasy Football. Let's talk about Week 8
Oh,
results and or
Holy crap.
sweats.
There was some serious high scoring this week. This is probably every season you get one of these weeks that comes along that just becomes like, hey, I have 95 points and I'm still nervous. This is weird. What's going on? And that's how many points were scored this week. It was a really crazy week.
It was. And even more so when you blend Chisholm's old team with Lewis's team. Boy, do they start scoring pretty well when you start combining teams.
Yeah,
It was nuts.
dream team,
So,
if you will.
For those that didn't listen last week, we lost one of our four heads last week. So Chisholm, unfortunately, fell to the blade. But much to the boon of Lewis, who then picked up half his team. So
Basically my
and
whole
then
team.
traded for another one.
So I think
It
it's
was
actually
fantastic.
important for everybody to understand exactly what happened because there's a phenomena that like we tend to call Mons Venus, where like you're going out and you are going to Mons Venus. Mons Venus is a super strip club in Tampa Bay where like people spend a ton of money and they go.
So
and
we've
buy all
heard.
the new flashy things. It was not necessarily a Mons Venus week, although it was kind of a Mons Venus week. Let me explain something here. It's
Luke
very
couldn't go-
important.
you couldn't go to Mons Venus again this week. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Let me just say, it's important for you to understand if you're going to spend a bunch of money, the only reason you should spend that money is if you feel like you are going to get people who will ultimately be in your final roster.
We call him
And
Endgame,
so-
baby.
So
Endgame.
I did. I spent time. Our good buddy John Dexter here was kind of surprised. Actually, he was like, "Holy cow! Now that I look at your roster, what's going on here?" When I saw that Chisholm actually had a whole bunch of what I call end game pieces, people.
Wait, are you saying that I had a good team that I drafted? Is that what you're saying?
You did a good job, and you put together a reasonably good roster. And when I was looking through, by getting a lot of the pieces with Chisholm, I was not only improving my team, I was improving my team that would technically actually play in a long game. I would not have spent that money if I didn't think I was getting that long game play, which is why I thought it was important. And I actually had reasonable bets. I won literally all of my bets by less than $30 per bet. I was kind of surprised that people were not more aggressive who were in worse spots.
Yeah.
They should have been.
Yeah, so this
honestly.
I have never gotten that good of a like tight window of winning bets ever. Like it was crazy. Usually you overbid by like $100. All of my bets were tight.
So,
So
give the
I
listeners,
actually-
like, how much are you saying? When you say bet, you're being vague and
You mean bid, number
like
one.
how much
Yeah,
did you bid for your fat?
My
Like, how much
bid,
did you
I
bid?
can pull them up, man. I can pull up. It's actually a really good exercise.
It is.
This
That
is
way they
like-
get context
while
to
you're
it.
while you're looking that up, Lou, I want to explain something to our listeners. So this is the time where you start dropping. The total teams is dwindling, obviously, and this is where you get to the point where your number of teams in the league are below what you would normally draft for a normal fantasy football league.
All right.
Yep.
I got
Right.
it. So To give
That's
it
right.
context, the one player I did not win was Jameer Gibbs, right? I bid $267, lost him to $350, right? But then I won Tony Pollard for $159. The next highest bid was $128, right? I won Devontae Smith $129. The next highest bid was $101. I won Jaden Reed $129. The next highest bid $103. I won.
That was it. I traded.
And that was it. Yeah, and then I lost Travis Kelce because I had no other places to put people.
Because I
would
needed
have
a
won
fifth
him
tight
by
end.
50. I would have
wanted a
won him
fifth
by
tight end.
$50 if I had gotten him, and then I traded Dexter because I had so many position players at that point. I couldn't start everybody. I had to get a second tight end because
And Tucker Kraft is not in game.
He's not in game, but he's close. But he was close enough that
Travis
I could have
Kelce.
been fine. But I realized I had literally too many people to start this week, and it was worth trying to grab an endgame tight end. Travis Kelce is an absolute endgame tight end. It was absolutely worth it. I traded
Cooper Kupp.
And Cooper Kupp, we got two 34-year-old people who are amazing, who've been underperforming for a variety of reasons. I was anxious about it. It actually worked out for both of us. We're fine.
Yep. I needed a wideout bigger than life because my wideouts are not that good. And so I had Michael Wilson and Jordan Addison going into the week. It would have been fine for this particular week. But, I would have been fine, though. Like, I had enough people to get by. I didn't want them, but Michael Wilson continues to do enough. But now Cooper Kupp is pretty darn good. And so I don't need to worry about that position, hopefully, barring injury, which is what everybody has to do. So barring injury and just letting him do his thing, Cooper Kupp should do fine. I feel fine. If I make it to the last week of the season, it's not like I'm like, gosh, should I start him? No, man, I'm starting that dude. So I feel
I will concede
half my team.
That overall, I do believe that Dexter got more in that trade. But I literally had too many position players to start. I needed to start diversifying what else I had, and it was worth it to me to lose a little bit to give up something.
Sure, so. It's obviously it's supply and demand, right? He's worth less to you than he is to Dex.
Yep. I've never had this problem where I literally had multiple bench players that I could easily start.
Yeah,
T. Higgins went out at the last second. I was like, I don't care. I had multiple options. I had to actually decide who my next player was. It was great.
Oh,
Jesus.
So I have I think I realized that after the waivers ran, I had 5 of the top 8 tight ends, and that
did. I
it's
promise.
A good problem because I can start 3 of them, and I haven't had a problem doing that because the flex spots, man, I'm averaging over 15 points the last 3 weeks doing it this way for flex spots. Just tight end and flex spots, they're all at the end of the day. I'm getting about 36 to 45 points out of those 3 positions. That's pretty good. So I'm just kind of keep rolling with it for a while. But now I'm to the point I need a freaking second wideout. I need an in-gamer second wideout. And I was really hoping this other dude would have lost in our league because he's just hanging on with Justin Jefferson. That's the only reason he's even there. And I was eyeballing him, and that mofo was going to be mine if Adam didn't take him. But now there is no Adam. So now I have the big wad of Mons Venus cash for the league. Mm-hmm. But this particular team just doesn't really have the stuff I want that dropped out, but it's still better than what I have.
There's a lot.
Bench.
I mean, one could argue CMC, but then what do you bid on CMC?
And he's on
CMC
bye this
going
week.
On bye,
and
you have another corpse on your bench.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
And
he's
still a massive question mark.
So here's what's funny in this particular league. So other Guillotine leagues may not do it. We started doing it, and we're going to put an episode up for people starting a Guillotine league. If they heard this, this does sound like fun. So after each person gets knocked out for the first 9 weeks, right? Or 10 weeks? What's
9
our deal?
weeks. 9 weeks.
9 weeks. And so we started a second league, the relegation. And I think it would be freaking hilarious if CMC goes first in both drafts. And it really could happen. Yeah. And that's just hilarious to me because, Adam died with that pick. And here we go. And really, he only died because Jordan Mason just decided to get hurt. And he just probably could have played. He even said he could play, but he didn't come back in. And they let Garindo go the rest of the time, which also killed one of my parlays, and it killed me in another fantasy league. So I had Jordan Mason too, but those kind of things are kind of fun.
You know what I call the CMC effect that's happened, Dex? I call that the let's make a deal effect. You ever watch the show Let's Make a Deal?
Yeah.
Remember when we were little kids? They
Back in
had
the
the old
day.
reruns of Let's Make a Deal and Monty Hall. Monty Hall's like, I've got $500 for you here. Or there's a giant box on the table over there, and we don't know what's behind the box. What do you want? And like 9 times out of 10, people take the stupid box. And it's usually like a goat or something like that for $500.
But every now and then
That
it's
is
Chisholm, and then they say, "Hey, they got the keys to the new car." And
That's exactly right.
Chisholm, I
So
think
people
you're
always
going,
take
Chisholm, are you going with the Family Guy? But it could be a boat.
it. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
It could be a boat.
We could win a boat, but it could be anything. It could be a
Right.
boat.
But it could be a boat. And this is what people do. And listen, here's my advice to you. And I what this matters doesn't matter much because I'm the first out. But here's my advice to you, which is don't go with what could be. Go with what is.
So let me reel us back in a second. So I had a similar problem. Like Dexter's saying, he started extra tight ends because he saw a high floor with the 5 tight ends. He could throw in 3 of them and get his 15 points. I had a similar problem where I thought I had a bunch of stud wide receivers, and then I went 2 or 3 weeks where they scored 3 points or 1 point or 0 or whatever. And so this last week, I threw in as many running backs as I could that I knew would get 15-plus touches.
who'd you throw in there? Like, who are you talking about? So your starters are Saquon and
Saquon and Kamara are
So
going
who'd
in
you
there
put
every
other
week.
spots?
I also started Rashad White, who'd been pretty quiet, but he had a nice game this week. 15.7
Lewis's
points.
views.
Yeah, irrational love.
And then I started Alexander Madison, actually.
Alexander Madison.
Madison.
And he only had 15 rushing yards, but he had 5 catches, and I knew he would not run the ball because the Chiefs are not giving up rushing yardage. But
They do
I was
not.
counting on those catches, and he came through with 5 receptions for me. So
Sneaky picky there. Sneaky
my-
little hobbitses.
my 4 running backs had nearly 60 points, and that's a pretty high floor.
That is.
So-
but that's the whole reason I've been starting these tight ends. And what's funny is some of the guys in the league are like mocking me, like, "How are you still surviving with starting all these stupid tight ends?" I'm like,
They're idiots.
Because it's Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, Pitts, and Ingram. They're like the number 1 receivers on their team.
Right.
It's like I might as well be. They're wideouts. They're just in the tight end position, and so
Right.
those
You can't-
are my wideouts. It's just my wideouts suck. I need real wideouts.
When you play Guillotine fantasy football, you cannot wait for the 78-yard bomb that you get once every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the thing is, like,
You
what
got to
Lewis
have
is
the
talking
guys
about.
that make 6 catches a game.
That's exactly
Quantity.
Like 70 yards. And so when Lewis was talking about his bids, I mean, he got the wideouts he was talking about, Devontae Smith and Jaden Reed for 139, 125, whatever the heck it was, right? Well, I got Kelsey for 48 or 58 or whatever. I got Trey McBride for 60. I got Bowers. I think I spent 105 on him, but I spent $200 to get 3 number 1 wideouts in reality.
Yeah.
So, like, they can mock me all they want, but I'm freaking sitting pretty good. And,
They're not going to hit the home run, but they're going to get their 10
but
targets a
McBride,
game.
like, no touchdowns last week, 21.4 points, 9 catches, 124 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if he would have wrapped in a touchdown, it'd be fantastic. And I am rooting for those. I mean, ironically, Evan Ingram, he flopped in at the end for me, thank God. But he only had 4 for 36, but he was targeting the red zone all the time, just Jacksonville sucks. So it is what it is. And Brock Bowers, I knew he was going to be a struggle bus, but even against the Chiefs, who just, God, they lock down people in the passing game. I think they're top 5 in passing defense. And in rush defense, well, it's rush defense.
Number
to really
one,
get on.
number 1 in rush defense. I
Yeah,
think.
number 1 in rush D, but then they really haven't given up too much. And Brock Bowers 5 for 58, and I think he was only behind Kittle I think he was number 2 tight end, but regardless, I mean, Kittle had another great game, so nothing wrong about that. But having these guys, again, high floors can take you a long ways. And we're not at those last 6 weeks yet where you better have you need to have a bunch of studs.
If you still have Fab, you can still like transform your team dramatically from what it is to something else.
That's exactly
listen from day one.
Fab, but the only reason I've limited Fab is that like I really felt like the people I was getting are the people I wanted at the end anyways. And I was kind of surprised.
That's funny. That's why I didn't use any of my Fab, because I had who I wanted.
He had the most Fab in the league. Actually, he did.
Did you die with the Fab? How much did you die with?
I had $870.
$900.
Who was I going to bid on?
Rob Brown earlier. Amon-Ra.
Who was I gonna like? I didn't see any. Here's the problem. I didn't have any glaring holes. So why would I go out and like blow a bunch of Fab when I don't have glaring holes? And I was waiting for a team to drop that had an in-game guy, and there weren't any in-game guys out there. So I'm like, why am I going to spend Fab on these spuds?
Completely agree with you, Chisholm. I didn't even look once I saw what was there. I last week's roster was not worth bidding on. I didn't even
No, it wasn't. There wasn't anybody I wanted on that team.
And the guy who barely made himself safe, bid $800
on trash,
blew all on trash, almost got kicked out, and this week won the week at 160 points.
Yes,
that's how it works in Gio. That's how it works.
So,
once you know something, just like we do in the NFL with our bets. Once we know something, it's totally wrong.
You're screwed.
So, Chiz, I got a question for you. Did you consider C.J. Stroud an in-game quarterback?
No, he was the one guy that I had that I wanted an upgrade on. The problem was nobody came free who I saw as a significant upgrade to Stroud.
Yep. That's
it was
where
like
I'm sitting right now.
I did have him circled on my roster as like, this guy is not the guy I want starting at the end of the season. Not that he's bad. He's just not consistent. So it's like
that's why I grabbed him in the bloodbath, was because though he was absolutely a great second quarterback. Like
absolutely.
Allen, I'm like, holy crap! If I can have C.J. Stroud as my second, I'm totally happy with that.
He's a great second.
And I've got Baker, and Baker's got a couple games that are tough coming up, but his last 4
but
or
Baker
5
puts
games
up
are,
Baker puts up numbers, man.
Numbers.
And he runs now. I feel like he's running more this season than I recall him running in prior
so
seasons.
He's
I like him as a human being too. I just like him.
CJ is like my Justice Hill. I can't quit him.
I mean, he's a gamer. I'll give him
That's
that.
what I
I've
like
always
about
said
him.
He's a gamer. He's the guy who like if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not, you freaking hate him. He's a jackass.
Come on, you've got to have seen those.
I think he's grown up a
Heisman
little.
commercials. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
I'll give him.
He pops up and he's still playing or whatever college football on the Xbox or whatever.
He has grown up a little bit in the last couple of years. I think what it took for Mayfield was he needed to get humbled. I think that dude had. Yeah. I think that dude had won everywhere he was, and he thought he was a god, and he's not a god. He's an average, maybe slightly above average NFL quarterback, and that's fine. But he didn't know that's what he was.
Without Godwin and Evans for the rest of the way.
And he's got
but
issues,
he still threw up numbers last week.
He actually can connect with people.
And
those people love him in Tampa
Bay. They do.
The players.
They loved him in Cleveland.
Love him.
They loved him in Cleveland. Like Rams wasn't really a real shot in Carolina. What the hell? I mean, it's kind of funky, but I think he found the right landing spot. I think some of these guys that get knocked out of the league or just I don't know, get a horrible first run and then they're just garbage. Like Geno Smith,
just don't
right.
You don't get the system.
The Jets. He sucked. He was god awful. Then he goes to Seattle. He's comeback player of the year,
brother. Okay,
he doesn't. He's a passable NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he is.
He's passable. I can't stand.
But
him,
he was unplayable in New York.
That's the thing.
And Bryce Young might be the same thing down the road. I don't know.
I'm not sure he's not. Like, at the end of the day, you got to look at fit is a real thing. system fit is a real thing.
Give
And I
me
mean,
a sheepskin. Give me a sheepskin.
All right, so
Medic,
we're going to
medic.
move on. Let's recap our Shrewdness sleepers from last week because we had a pretty good week.
We had a great week. I don't have the total stats, but I know what we were last week, Pruitt. You know what we were last week, Shrewdness? We were 3-0. We gave you 3. We said, hey, these guys are all going to give you double digits. Here's 10 points coming your way. And we gave you Ricky Pearsall. He had a rush of 39 yards, 4 for 38, filling in for Jawan Jennings, who was out. And Debo, who came back. Brandon Ayuk, who was out. And he gave you 11.7 points. There you go. You're welcome. And then Chisholm gave you Tyler Conklin. And while he didn't do anything for Chisholm the week he had him, he did great for you this week when you played him in that spot. He got you 13.2 points, 3 catches, 42 yards, and a tutty. And then Padog came through. He said, man, this guy's got wheels. He's electric. Let's go. Jameson Williams is out for betting on himself with roids or whatever the hell he was doing. Yep. And he came through really.
And guns. The new thing is guns. He had guns.
Yeah.
He had roids and guns.
Yeah. Well,
madness.
It all goes together, doesn't it? But 15.4 points for your Shrewdness team if you picked up Khalif Raymond. And hell, if you had to start all 3, you needed 2 wideouts and a tight end, we got you like a lot of points. 15, 13, 11, there we go. You should be staying with your head on.
So that's 39 points from 3 players.
What's all that added up? It's like
it's 13. Dexter.
It's like 13. I was doing Lewis math. We gotta go back to different stuff. That's an inside joke for our Shrewdness listeners.
That's 2. That's 3. And you know what you do with that? You do a Jameis Winston. You eat the W.
That's right.
You eat the W.
Crab leg it. Crab leg it.
So that's what we had for you last week, Shrewdness listeners. So this week, Shrewdness sleepers. I want to start with Lou, who's feeling great. He's up on the world. What do you have for this week's Shrewdness listeners when they have potential bye weeks with Pittsburgh and San Francisco? Maybe they're starting, I don't know, Debo or Pickens. They need a wideout. Maybe they need a running back.
Purdy
what can you give us?
Kittle.
I'm gonna take the low hanging fruit, folks, and I'm gonna apologize for Shrewdness listeners. We missed on this. I don't know why we missed on this. Everybody else knew it last week. That was like totally what we call inside baseball. If you're old school like us, Cedric Tillman scored like 18 points last week before our sleeper picked. And we were like, okay, well, we missed on that. And then he scored like 28 points last week. So he's currently owned in 16.4% of leagues. He should be somebody who should get you at least a $30, $40 bid if you're looking for a wide receiver. He should be rostered. Don't go crazy on him, but put a reasonable bid on Cedric Tillman. Don't let him sit out there.
There we go. I like it. Excellent. Pruitt, who do you have for our Shrewdness listeners
Yep,
for this week?
I'm going with Calvin Ridley for Tennessee.
Okay.
He's only owned in 36.9% of leagues. He plays New England this week. And with the departure of D-Hop to the Chiefs, Ridley should get more targets. And I think he's got a chance at getting a touchdown this week.
So is every other week of 0s or 1.9 does not scare you off of Calvin Ridley with Will Levis and company throwing to him?
I think it's a game changer.
It's not
when
Will Levis. It's Mason Rudolph.
I thought Will Levis come back this week.
Yeah, you never know. I got to say, he had 22.6 points last week, 15 targets, 10 catches, 143 yards, Dexter.
Well,
Why are you that scared?
If Mason Rudolph is still playing this week, I'm not scared anymore. But all I know is Will Levis.
143 yards.
I think
Either
Will
way.
Levis
Even Christmas.
is like, yeah, not
10
walking
catches,
Calvin Ridley.
10
dog
catches
or
for
something.
10 yards? Do the math.
I don't want to do public math again. I'm not
learned his
doing that.
lesson.
Don't you try and set me up for failure. Lou,
In a PPR league, catches matter more than anything else, and he had 10 catches.
Right, 15 targets or something.
And there's no D-Hop to, like, mess things up. It's a no-brainer.
All right. I like it. I just wanted to poke a little bit. I got to push back. I need you to defend
Hey,
your
I feel
pick.
more confident in Calvin Ridley than I did in Khalif Raymond. Let's be honest.
Well, there we go. And that one worked out.
I think Calvin Ridley's going to be picked up by a ton of people, but 36.91% absolutely should be rostered.
All right, Chisholm, tell us who the next Shrewdness sleeper is for this week to deliver some wins for people.
You're going to think he's a middle
you're
manager, but he's not. Michael Wilson is a wide receiver in the NFL. You're going to pick him up. 26% rostered. He's going to get some targets. He's pretty reliable. He usually gets between 5 and 7 a game. Plug Michael Wilson in. Be happy with your 5 catches, 40 yards, and a tutty.
I like it. So
That's
you're
a bold-
calling a tutty,
Bold
too?
prediction, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Woo, man. You know what? I like the aggressiveness on that. I'm good with it. All right. Sounds good. I'm going to close this up with our Shrewdness sleeper for the week. It'll be the most owned player, but at the end of the day, he's still only 40% owned. So Keon Coleman, who is coming on strong with the addition of Amari Cooper in Buffalo, and Khalil Shakir's back, so he's kind of second or third in the targets for each week. But last 2 weeks, 7 targets, 4 for 125, 7 targets, 5 for 70, and a touchdown. So he's gone 16, 5, and 18 the last 2 weeks. He's going against Miami, which held him catchless in week 2. But this week, I think he comes back. I think he's learned a lot in 2 months. I think Keon Coleman, home against Miami, is going to deliver you a solid game. And I'm going 5 for 60. And if he flops in the end zone for you, sounds great. So Keon Coleman is my Shrewdness sleeper for the week.
I like him. Let's do it. Another 4 for 4 week.
We got Cedric Tillman, Calvin Ridley, Michael Wilson, and Keon Coleman to help you get through the bye week. If you're starting Pittsburgh or San Fran wideouts, kind of got you covered there. Those were kind of the best values. Some values are still there. I'm going to hit on just a couple of them. So Cortland Sutton, 51% owned at Baltimore, who has just given up a truckload of yards passing. So I like Cortland Sutton this week a lot, but our criteria is kind of below that number. But 51%, if he's still in your league and you need someone, I like him at Baltimore. And also Tyrone Tracy, if you need a running back, and if he gets out of concussion protocol, he's going to be home against Washington, and he is the number 1 running back for the Giants right now. So Devin Singletary clearly has taken a back seat, and but for him getting knocked on his noggin at the end of that game, he would have been a slam dunk. He probably would have been my pick, but he is 57.7% owned, so he's probably out there. If you need someone, if he clears, he's a solid one. All right, we are going to go into a new segment, our projected spuds. So instead of just telling you who sucked last week, that you are already well aware of who sucked last week, we're going to tell you who's going to be next week's topic of who sucked last week.
We're not
going to
rub
pick
salt
ahead
in
of
your
time.
wounds.
Exactly. We're going to just get the salt shaker out for next week. We're going to have it primed. So I will start us off.
Who to avoid?
Who to avoid? The Shrewdness.
Leave him on your bench.
Projected spuds. Just leave him on the bench and pick up one of our sleepers instead. So I'm going to start us off with Zay Flowers, who's been doing great. I get it. But he's going to be going against Pat Surtain and Denver this weekend. And, man, Denver plays better than what – they're just doing better than what people think. And Patrick Surtain, unless you just don't watch football, is phenomenal. He's a lockdown corner. He will be just following Zay Flowers around all the time. And I think with the addition of Deontay Johnson and Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews will be the ones getting the ball more. I think it's going to be Surtain taking Flowers out of the game. I'm not saying he's going to get 0, but he's going to be closer to 0 than 30. So I think my projected spud of the week that you should just put on your bench is Zay Flowers. All right. Who wants to take the next one?
So what I decided I think I like to target is Washington versus New York Giants. I feel like that Washington's defense has been relatively maligned while performing at a level that's been very well above what people expected. And I really do feel like Daniel Jones has been really boom or bust. I feel like this is a bit of a trap moment. And I feel like Malik Neighbors, who is generally the focus of that offense, I think
general about it.
struggle.
He's getting 42 targets a game.
I think Malik Neighbors is going to have a rough run, and that is my projected spud of the week.
I like it. So you're just saying because Washington defense been showing more lately, last few weeks,
they've been way better than projected, and I feel like they're going to continue to be better. Washington has looked a lot better, and I do believe that the Giants are getting closer to sell mode than they are to buy mode.
I hear you. Because what we got? One more week till the trade deadline.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised if Dexter Lawrence is not a Giant very soon.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Pruitt, who do you got for us?
All right, I'm gonna go with Garrett Wilson of the Jets. He's playing against Houston this week. I think because Devontae Adams is there now, who is a former favorite target. Between him and Lazard, I think Aaron Rodgers has lots of reasons to ignore Garrett Wilson. And then Houston's pass rush has been pretty solid all year, and the Jets' offensive line is having some struggles here recently. So I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a tough time reeling in more than a few catches.
Awesome.
He's also been flirting with like 12 to 13 points in several weeks, so I think this might be the week he drops below 10.
I hear you. I think that's kind of a valid point. But for a couple amazing catches he had, he wasn't really much there the last couple weeks.
That's right.
All right, Chisholm.
I like it.
Are you vertical and properly seated?
Hopefully, I don't go pixel on you. So you're gonna go. Why, Brent? Why would you pick this guy to be a spud? Well, I lived with him for many weeks this season. Devontae Smith. Yes, he's playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville sucks really bad. So you would say, I'll start Devontae because they suck. But here's what's going to happen. Jacksonville is a train wreck. Their coach is probably coaching his last game. And what's going to happen is a big first half for the Eagles. I don't think Devontae is going to be part of that big first half because he tends to just not show up certain games. And they're going to go up big. And then you're not going to see Devontae anymore. You're going to see Saquon and a heavy dose of Jalen Hurts on third and short. So I would not start Devontae this week, despite how tantalizing it looks. Those catches are going to go to Saquon. They're going to go to AJ. They're going to go to Goddard. And the game's going to get out of hand. And Devontae is a no-show. Put him on your bench. He's not bad to have on your team. It's not a week to start him.
I like it. And I don't disagree with you at all because I feel like we've seen this Jacksonville script multiple times this year where everybody gets all excited. And then when you look at the final stat lines, unless it's the running backs have done great because all they do is run out the second half. But for the wideouts, I mean, if they're the one that got the touchdown to kind of help get them up, okay. But they still don't end up with like an 8 for 140 game. It's just not what they've been doing. And
you actually want this. It's weird to think this way. But you actually want competitive games for your starters to be in because that's where you're going to start putting up points when the teams are pressing. It really sucks when you get on the lopsided end.
Luckily, I haven't needed it, but we've had a lot of Mitchell Trubisky action this year, like shockingly a lot.
True biscuits.
The freaking Buffalo has been absolutely beaten down, or they've absolutely beaten down, and all of a sudden Trubisky's got the whole fourth quarter. Luckily, I haven't needed it, but it's been a little bit frustrating.
Well, it's not good.
To be honest, in those games, though, Josh Allen's already gotten you like 35 points by the time Trubisky shows up. So it's not like he gave you 5 and it's like, well, Trubisky, you take the rest.
What if I needed it?
Right.
I didn't. But what if I needed it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I mean, it ain't no Trevor Lawrence in overtime. I mean,
competitive games are good for fantasy. You want guys that are going to be in there playing.
You want overtime every time.
That's
I know.
Right.
I'm joking because that's what got you knocked out last.
Yes, we want to bring up that again.
But you're making it like, that's what I'm talking. We all want overtime most of the time
until we don't.
Unless you're the one.
Until last year when I in fact wanted 0 overtime.
There you go. That's my point. That's all I'm saying. There's another side. There's always another side of the coin. All right. Excellent. So that's our projected spuds. We'll go through them again. So we got Zay Flowers, spud against Denver. We got Malik Neighbors, going to be a spud versus Washington. Garrett Wilson, Spud v. Houston, and Devontae the Slim Reaper is going to give you slim pickings this week at Jacksonville. So avoid like the plague. That's
4
our
wide
projected
receivers. That's interesting.
Spuds
4 wideouts.
to avoid. But fortunately, we gave you 4 wideouts to pick up. They're going to have great
Right.
ones for you.
That's right.
So don't drop these guys. But if you got a better option, which hopefully you do, let's go ahead and put them on the bench.
T. Higgins.
T. Higgins would be great.
Maybe not T.
Well,
But it's a
if he comes
contract
back,
year. It's a contract year.
He's going to play through everything. He wants to show how tough he is for the next team. T.
Higgins has been absolutely my freaking bane. When he plays, amazing.
There's no
Right.
T in team. Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
right. That's right.
Oh, man.
So,
All
All right. What else, guys?
We got
so we should talk a little Chiefs first. And
All right, so we're going to throw out the, hey, Roberto Clemente Award?
oh yeah. So by the way, we didn't forget the Royals. We will have a breakdown on the Royals season after the Major League Baseball season ends. We'll spend some time talking
Which
about the
maybe
Royals.
tomorrow night.
After
So
the Yankees
May-
lose.
Yankees won tonight. They hung on,
That's what I'm saying.
unfortunately.
yeah,
But we will do a little breakdown on the Royals season, which was extraordinary. And as to Lewis's point, the Man of the Year, Roberto Clemente Man of the Year award, went to our boy. And I don't know how anyone in the world could not love this man,
El
Salvador
Capitan.
Perez.
Yep.
El Capitan. I actually, this is one of the few athletes that I think when he retires, I probably will cry. I probably will cry. I may take a day off. I may just wear black and mourn because he gives me this much joy. Like I love this man.
I mean, honestly,
wouldn't, like,
he's up there with
shock
Glenn
me.
Dawson and Patrick Mahomes. Like he is.
Yes.
He's Kansas City Pantheon. Like
He is.
you cannot give him less than everything.
It
Yes.
would not shock me if the city did not have some sort of like parade or something.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we should because he's that good.
Absolutely.
He's that like
Yeah.
here's the unique thing about Sal Perez too. Like we've had great like George Brett Pantheon, right? George Brett though, let's be honest, can be sort of a sometimes. And there's some stories about George Brett being
and Mark Cliff
Right?
edit.
and like hey, we love him. He's our so we love him. But I will say like Sal Perez, like the dude stops on the side of the road to play ball with people. Like
play
it's
wiffle ball with
yeah.
it's
10-year-olds.
he's just the great. He's the
He
greatest.
plays with joy. He never misses a game. I remember, and I couldn't believe this. So I've had 2 meniscus surgeries in my knee. So did Salvi, and he probably wasn't shredded like mine was. But regardless, he had surgery and came back. I think 21 days later and just started playing again. He wasn't even out a month. I was out 6 months. I couldn't do anything forever. And Salvi gets surgery and is like, it's merely a flesh wound. I mean, that dude is the Black Knight. I mean,
He's
awesome.
just, and I don't know anybody. I've never heard a bad story. I've never heard a story
None.
about Salvador Perez where he's just like he was a
But
prick
if
to
he
somebody.
gets a statue that looks anything like Dwayne Wade,
Oh, my
we're
God.
gonna riot. We're
God,
gonna
that
riot.
was god awful. Like, what was that thing? I thought it was a joke when someone put it up at first, and then it was what was unveiled. It's scarier in person. It's like a great Halloween gift.
It's zombie Dwayne Wade. It is like it is like I have no idea how that got approved. Surely he didn't approve that.
No, I mean, what version did he see? like the pre-sketch. Like, here's what it's gonna look like, and then they unveiled it. What in the hell is that? I mean,
He
good
probably
Lord.
got told over the phone. It's going to look like you. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly you. We stuffed your face in the bronze mold. It'll be fine. And it's like they got the wrong one.
It's so bad.
Like,
it's so bad.
Don't trust AI to make everything, I guess. I don't know.
I mean-
That thing was god awful.
It looks nothing like him. I would never recognize him. And if they do that
No.
to Salvi, I personally will tear the statue down myself. I will personally tear it down.
Like, we need
Kansas
that bust
City
in
would
Cooperstown
not
to
do
look
that
great.
to Salvi. We would
No.
not do it.
No.
Like,
No.
all the statues at Kauffman Stadium look like the players they are portrayed to
They
be.
represent.
Freaking
Yeah.
Brett's
And-
statue is awesome. I love it.
It's elite. That's an elite
what-
statue.
So Chiz, you started to say, I think we're going to have like almost a dedicated episode for the Royals.
Yeah,
coming
we're
up
gonna
at
do
some point.
we're gonna do a
Actually,
dedicated.
we should probably go off script and just like run a like by itself recap /
Yep.
look forward. Let's just do
We'll do a
Royals
recap.
every
We'll
something.
we'll
We're
talk
gonna do a
about
hot
free.
stove.
We'll talk about free agents, where we are
Yep.
contract
Just gotta,
wise,
we
all
gotta pick
that.
a Wednesday or Thursday and just go like, "Mer," that's what we do.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So let's move to the Chiefs though. This week, the Chiefs are 7-0. They have now won, I think,
What was
15
that
straight
record again?
games.
What was that record again?
7-0.
Boom!
Only undefeated team.
Screw you,
Only
Miami. We're
undefeated
coming
team.
for you.
And they suck. And 7-0 and they suck, and everybody is like, yep, they shouldn't be 7-0. They're just
Yes.
terrible.
But
They're
they
terrible.
are.
They're the
Wait
worst
until they
7-0
start
team
playing
that's
well.
ever been 7-0. You're like,
They
like
really are.
Vikings South.
They're really horrible. 7-0, beating the Ravens, beating the Bengals, beating the 49ers.
The Ravens are a better
You know.
team. Everybody is consistently.
Oh yeah, they're way better.
Yeah,
They're
they lost
way
to
better.
Cleveland and the Raiders.
Trust
Man,
me.
I get it.
Trust
I get
me,
it.
I'm saying this ironically, but I'm
I
telling
know.
you, this is what everybody's
I'm
saying.
saying too.
Everybody's saying, well, but the Ravens are just better. They're just so much better.
Right.
Like, oh my
Right.
God, they're so much better than the Chiefs.
They're clearly better. They're clearly better. So the amazing part about this team is this is 15 in a row. In the modern NFL, 15 in a row is absolutely insane. We actually have a view, if we've talked about on the show, we don't think we're doing. None of us are saying the Chiefs are going to go undefeated. But
No,
if you look
probably
at the
not.
schedule,
I hope they don't really.
if you look at the schedule, they have one game they're probably going to be an underdog in that's left on the schedule. The rest of the games they're probably going to be favored in. They're headed for the postseason, and we've had multiple injuries. But I'll tell you, this is what's so scary. To Lewis's point, everyone's talking about how bad this team is and how Patrick Mahomes is having the worst statistical season of his career, which is true. That's fine.
All these are true statements.
They're all true.
Yep.
However, let me remind you, Kareem Hunt and Lewis has said this in our chats for a couple weeks now. He looks like a completely different person. He's the perfect back for this offense.
He is.
He fits perfectly. And, oh, by the way, we're going to be getting two-time Super Bowl winning running back Isaiah Pacheco back towards the end of the season. That's going to be one hell of a 1-2 punch. You've
Maybe
got
by Thanksgiving.
maybe by Thanksgiving. You've got
But no reason to rush him. We've got a freaking 20 carry back.
right.
I'm just saying,
right.
though, we also want him to be like rusty going into the playoffs. I want him to have some
That's
reps. I want him to get in
That's
shape.
right.
I want him game ready
You
when
just
the
have him on
snow's
your
falling.
fantasy team, Dex.
Hey!
You're a true.
Don't you judge me. He needs some
For
game reps. He's got to be ready.
True Kansas City Chiefs fans, I'm telling you, just ride the old horse, man. That dude is
Yeah.
putting up numbers, and he's great.
Yeah. You saw
He's doing
saw this
well.
last week what Travis Kelce can do when they actually focus on Travis Kelce and put him in the game plan. We just picked up this one guy. You may have heard of him, DeAndre Hopkins. He's a
Woo!
decent wide
G-Hop,
receiver. And it's still conceivable. It's still conceivable that we get a true another number one wide receiver back in time for the playoffs. So, like, this is a
It
team
is.
right now that is 7-0, and everyone says sucks. Like,
Yeah.
And I feel like we've argued about this, and I think we had maybe that 49ers game was a B plus. I still
Yeah.
don't think it was an A. Y'all can argue with me if you want.
no, that's
I
right.
think-
It wasn't an A.
I think that was a B to B plus. Everything else has been usually like C caliber passable, as Bill Simmons used to call Milton Berle games, right? Where he just shows just enough of the thing to
Yeah.
like understandable. There's like 6 inches more that he doesn't
Right.
show, right?
Right.
And so like
6
they're
inches?
just showing just enough of what's there, but not the whole 12 inches.
Just
So,
the tip.
Shrewdness
like-
listeners.
Just the tip.
Shrewdness listeners.
Look up
Insert
Milton Berle.
whatever
with this
jokes
whole
you would
thing.
like right here.
Mark clip. All right. But regardless, this is like they're just showing enough to win. They don't really care. If they're ever in doubt, they have another gear. They've barely had to use that other gear. When they've had to use it, they've just used enough of it to get over the hump and win, and that's it. That's all they're going to do.
And that's all they will do.
I think you're thinking of the offensive side of the ball.
That's true.
Defense
That's a very
is
good
playing
point.
Lights out, and you can cover a lot of sins with a fantastic defense.
It's an
That's
unbelievable
exactly right.
defense. It really, truthfully, is one of the most unbelievable defenses I've ever seen.
It's very
It's
fun
not getting
to
enough
watch
credit.
too. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
To
Don't
watch.
you
It's
think
not like? Yeah, go ahead.
Don't you think it's the best defense Mahomes has had?
Yes,
It may
Hands
be
down.
the
I think
best
so.
defense we've
in
ever
Kansas
seen.
City history.
They got the ball last week on the 3, and I'm like, well, that's at least a field goal. Like,
Right.
it should be a touchdown. There's very little that we can do to prevent that touchdown. And they actually lost 7 yards and turned over the ball. No points. And it wasn't even close. It
Yeah,
wasn't
we
Yeah.
have good safeties, good corners, good linebackers, and Chris Jones. I mean, the thing is, we have talent,
Chanel
all
is
pro talent
probably-
at every level.
Chanel is probably an absolute number 1 super starter on every other team in the league, and people barely know his name.
Yeah.
That dude is amazing. He
Yeah.
can play cornerback.
Yeah.
He could
Yeah.
be a cover corner. That's like how versatile that guy is.
Yeah.
And they have actually showed what he did last week, where like he literally could just go, boom, I'm going to be like a safety and I'm going to cover half the field. And they had to respect him as a safety, and then he would come up and he'd play the run.
Didn't you see who else was doing that? Didn't you see who else was doing that in the linebacking core? Drew Tranquil.
Drew
Yes.
Tranquil. I like
That dude, he could play linebacker, he could play safety. He's phenomenal and incredibly underrated. And the Chargers were total buffoons to let him go. And thank you very much, because he's a phenomenal difference maker.
So you
I
have
loved him
two.
on the Chargers. I was like shocked. I'm like,
Right.
wait,
Yeah.
I thought
Exactly.
this guy was good. Like, I hated playing against him.
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
he's
legit.
and who did we trade for this week, guys?
Lewis got this
Oh, we
one.
got Uche, right?
Oh my God! Yeah, I know how to say his name. Uche. Uche. Is that it?
Uche. Yeah.
K and I.
And that dude, we literally traded like spots in the draft, and it was so little that Bill Belichick, who is possibly a little bit like Patriot centric, said the Chiefs gave up
Kind of.
nothing to get somebody who's really good.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's beyond New England centric though. He might be
Yeah.
bitter. He might be bitter, but he's like, yeah,
Dude.
he's Belichick.
And aren't we getting someone else back very soon?
Don't we get
Yeah.
a Minihue back at some point?
Yeah, Omenahue is really close. He may not play this week, but he's really close. He's been making all kinds of X posts on this. Yeah, with Omenahue back, we get Omenahue
The
back.
only knock on the Chiefs defense, if you can have one, is that the pass rush hasn't been quite as prolific as it has been in past years. You add Uche, you add Omenahue, I think
Yeah.
that goes away.
I don't know.
Well,
I think Curious George has. Okay, he doesn't get sacks, but he does other things.
Yeah, he does.
He had a
I
big
don't
sack this
think
week.
he's
didn't he? I
bad.
think.
Everybody's like, well, but he doesn't get sacks.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
not bad. He's not
You
even
don't
close
need
to
sacks
bad.
because pressures and knocking the ball down; those are good plays.
That's
He's
right.
Closing
his
holes and making
clock
tackles.
Is insane. That guy is like, he is running 90-0 every play, and he's all over the field.
He is.
Yeah, he had a great pass bat down at a key point this week.
That's
He-
what I'm talking about.
I
The
don't think he's ever
knockdowns,
going
I'll
to be a
take
sack
that.
guy. I just don't think it's going to happen.
It-
but I still think he's good. I think he's not just like okay. I think he's
I-
really good.
I guess what I'm saying though is like the reason we got Uche, and when you bring Omenahue back, I think that little flaw of not having a guy that can go in and sack the quarterback, I think that concern goes way down.
Well, and we add depth. Just the fact that
Yeah.
the guys playing
Right.
don't suck right now anyway.
Well, I think
Right.
They don't.
I'm going to butcher whatever. Felix
FAU.
FAU.
Yeah, let's just do that. FAU. I think
Okay.
he goes back to tiny play, and with the new additions, if you get Omenahue and that guy, I think FAU becomes a project again.
Is Dana coming back anytime soon? What's his deal?
He's got a torn pec.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Is he out
I
for the
don't-
year though?
No, he's not out for the. He's not officially out for the year
Probably
yet.
out
But
till
he's like going to
December
be
at least.
deep.
It's not going to be next week by any means.
Like any of these guys, we haven't had a hard timetable when these guys are going to show back up, right? For any of the ones
No.
we're talking about.
But
No,
we're not
I
going to either. That's not.
I think that Felix. Listen, he's fine depth, but as close to as close to Veach gets for missing is probably what he is.
He's had
he's
some reasonable
undersized.
plays. Oh,
Yeah.
he is a role player, but he's
Yeah.
not a first rounder. You
That's what
are
I'm saying.
Right there for
Yeah.
an ass end of the first round, dude is not performing for what. I mean, he was picked close to where McDuffie was picked, and McDuffie
Right.
is
All pro.
bleep. He is
Yeah.
unbelievable pick.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god!
I mean, he
Like,
literally
the
made
stuff that dude does is beyond.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he made Snead.
Snead.
Jadarius Snead. He just made him completely expendable by playing that well last year, and
And Snead was actually rated better last year, but everybody knew the only reason is that we put L'Jarius Snead on the number 1, and then we just absolutely locked down the number 2. And
Yeah.
Snead was great, but like the number 2 it was done. There was nothing the 2 was doing. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So-
it was
That's right.
ridiculous. And I think that
we had a great defense last year too.
Yep, it was. So I think we're looking forward to this week. We have a home game against Tampa Bay after taking care of Las Vegas last week, and it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be.
Wait a second, Dex. Let me put a bow on a Minihue.
Okay.
He's targeting Black Friday matchup against the Raiders for his return. That's what they're
It's
saying.
fine.
Right
We
now.
don't need him. I mean, give him all the time in the world. But I know
So
he's been like amping up.
So about a month till we get him Minihue, which is fine.
That's not bad at all. Because I think I would like to see a video on X of Pacheco and him just giving high fives on the treadmill and doing all this stuff.
I ain't betting on the Chiefs this week, but Jesus, man, they freaking are facing a Tampa Bay team that's lost all of their like big skill players.
Their threats.
It's
They are.
absolutely conceivable the Chiefs will lose, but man, how I don't know.
It's gonna be the safety and linebackers covering Bucky Irvin, Rashad White, and Cade Otton. It's not gonna be the wideouts that are gonna give us problems. It's gonna be all that underneath dump offs. It's gonna be like an old '90s
Yeah, but
Chiefs,
we
like
just talked about it.
122 Kimball Lambert.
Chanel and Tranquil just feast on those guys, man. That's what they do. We have the guys for that.
I know,
Should the
but they're
Chiefs
gonna
play
have
a-
to not miss.
Should the Chiefs play like a 4-4-3 this week and just put a fourth
Right.
linebacker in there?
I
and-
kind of think so. Honest to God, I mean, in
I
Spags
feel
we
like
trust
they
or whatever.
I feel like and let's not forget though, this is also a Monday night game at Arrowhead. Like
Yeah.
we tend to forget the impact of that
Strange.
environment.
I'm not supposed to ever bet on the Chiefs because every time I do, I regret it. But my God, everything screams take them this week.
Listen, here's what you do, and we've made lots of money on this in the Shrewdness podcast. You
Wait
wait
for
till
the
Tampa
Chiefs
Bay
to get
scores a
down.
touchdown
Yeah.
on their opening drive,
And then
which
you
they
live
will,
line.
and then it becomes profitable, and we're gonna win. So
Yep. And then you
Yep,
put
I
your money
took
down,
Chiefs
you're good for another month.
4.5 last week when
Yeah.
they were down, and shocker, the only thing I won the whole weekend was
Yeah.
you take the Chiefs when you get the best odds you can get, and I knew the only time that was going to happen is when they were down 7-0 or whatever.
It's like
That's
Yeah.
the
midway
best.
through the first quarter, Chiefs down by whatever, a touchdown or a field goal.
that's right.
That's-
It's even
Honestly,
better
that's
when
the
they get a
time you-
touchdown, though.
For the
I want the
Chiefs to be
touchdown
down
first.
in the first half,
Yeah.
but to win the game, take it. Whatever
That
it
is, this is, man, I don't know what else can be more, I don't even know what word you want to use for it.
More
We
automatic.
just love when the Chiefs get down early from a betting perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've gotten so
Chase.
confident
Oh, look, I just win
comfortable.
like $200, and
And
I lose everything else, but I win because I chase the Chiefs.
I know, but we've gotten so cocky, and it's just Patrick Mahomes. God bless you. It's just
God bless you.
unbelievable. It just he doesn't have to play well. I mean, last week was actually one of his better games, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
262 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh, but he threw another interception.
Yeah,
oh my God, he's so terrible.
It's over.
You
Yeah.
know,
Oh my God,
statistically,
we're so,
he's really
what's
not
wrong
having a
with
great year.
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
Statistically, I know someone pointed out to me that statistically he's having like the same season as like I don't know some
Yeah, fill in
spud
the
of a
blank.
He has
quarterback.
But are they
worst
7-0?
numbers over the middle of any quarterback
Yeah,
in the NFL?
and I was like, and I did. Anytime anybody says that to me, I say, "Okay, would you like to make a trade?" Would you like to trade for Mr. Mahomes? Oh, wait, you would. You
Weird
would
is
like to trade for
100%
Mr.
of them would
Mahomes.
want to trade for him, but he's so bad. I thought, yeah. So I think it's gonna be a shootout this week. I think it's gonna be a great game. We have two great competitors.
Is it going to be a shootout?
I think it will be. I mean, the thing is,
Baker's going to keep
Mayfield.
throwing. We know that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm with
He's not
Pruitt.
afraid to sling it.
Like, I don't know if it's gonna go to our team
Okay,
or
all right,
Tampa.
hold up. All right, right now, boom, my pick, Baker Mayfield over 2 interceptions.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
100%. Yeah,
I
it
would-
might be close, but he's throwing 2 interceptions against this
Yeah.
defense.
He doesn't
he's
have
throwing
Evans and
2.
Godwin, and that's just too big of a hurdle, I think, to actually come away with a win.
Right.
I still think there's a chance. Again, weird things happen, and the Chiefs don't blow anyone out. That's just not
That's
what's in their
true.
game plan.
They
So I
don't.
think it's going to be competitive
Nope,
more so
Burrow.
than we think. And I think
Yeah.
we're going to be dumping into the backs and the tight ends and those random-ass dudes. I don't even remember the names of the top 2 Tampa wideouts right now. I mean, I probably could dig them up, but
McMillan
I'm not starting them.
and-
It's Kate Otten and
I just don't
Rashad
care.
White.
Kate Otten is probably
it's
actually
Rashad
number one,
White,
number one.
Bucky Irvin and Cade Otten are the only fantasy players you want to have on
Jalen
the team.
McMillan and
The other guy.
I'm blanking
That's-
on him.
That's what I'm saying. They're so dog balls. I don't really
I
Is it
think it's
Mike Smith.
no, I think it's
No, he's actually the guy
Keyshawn
that you
Keyshawn
would-
Johnson.
Yeah, Keyshawn Johnson. That's who it
Danny
is.
Danny Peebles.
No,
Danny Peebles with the reverse. Danny Peebles with the reverse.
It's Cobb, early butts, Cobb,
Cobb.
directive.
Anderson. Yeah.
Man,
Anderson. Motion.
motion. Oh my god, unbelievable.
Sterling
All right,
This
so-
episode is going to take.
Let
so
me just
long.
say, this is just for the Shrewdness listeners. I just want to don't pay attention to this. This is inside baseball. Before I die again, I want on record. I want these
Trey
four.
Palmer. Trey Palmer.
I want Trey Palmer. I want
Before
the 4 of
Chisholm
us
dies
to get
again.
together before I die again. I want the 4 of us to get
survived the plane
together
crash.
One weekend.
and play
91.
just nothing but Tecmo Super Bowl seasons. You can't alter the playbook. You have to deal with
Must
whatever
stay.
you get.
Nobody will play with the Washington then commander thing.
Redskin Manders.
Redskins.
Redskin
Commanders.
Manders.
Yeah, it was an unplayable team. You could not play with them.
Yeah, any reverse, it's Arizona, and you had the Ricky Prohl
Ricky
reverse.
Prohl reverse.
So you're down to 3 plays right off the bat. I'm like, no, this is brutal.
Actually, you're down to 2 because then there was the other was the fake reverse where he fakes the handoff and he waits in the backfield
worst.
for
He
like
just
10
gets smoked every
seconds.
time. Oh my
It's the
God.
slowest developing play there is in Tecmo.
And then when you play Atlanta, Dion just tackles him every time. You just control it. Which is Lewis's team
so
every
we
time.
do have rules that come about. I get it. It's a thing. We ought to do it. And if we do
We
it,
need to do
we'll
it.
probably live stream it.
That would be phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
That would make sense.
That'd be great.
We might need to bring
That'd
in
be
Nintendo
phenomenal.
to spring training
we'll
and
monetize
surprise
the
this
YouTube
year.
TV dollars.
Yes,
That would be-
YouTube
Or X.
dollars or on
YouTube
or
data. All right, let's go. Let's jump into. I want to go into our
Picks.
picks for the
Yep.
week. So I'm going to rehash last week, and after our 0-4 showing 2 weeks ago, we went 2-2 last week. So we're back up. We had some goodness, but we also had some not so goodness. So our picks last week, I started us off, I think, with Atlanta -2.5. They hung on at the end versus Tampa 31-26. We got 1 dub. We had Chisholm. He got us with Cincy -2.5. That did not work out. Philly decided to not suck and not play like crap and not play like dog balls.
Honestly, it was the T. Higgins injury. I think you
So
can
bad.
easily say that.
so bad.
It could be that, and Philly just played really well and whatever. So they lost by 20. Didn't quite cover our 2.5.
It was close.
It was close. And then Pruitt. Oh, God. Just needed a little bit more.
Yeah.
But regardless, we had Green Bay -4.5. They won, but 30-27.
Only by 3 because
So
Took a knee to get that field goal, which I always hate.
Kicked a field goal for the win. Did not do that. It was a smart play to win the game. Bad play for us betting on it.
I feel like if Jordan Love would have stayed in the whole game, they had.
Oh, we would have had it for sure. Yeah. Whatever. Jordan Love went out early I think right before the half, right? But whatever.
Yeah.
We ended up losing that one barely. And then we got a freebie. Lewis got us with the Buffalo +3 on the road at Seattle. And not only did they get us the 3 points, they won by 21. So 31-10 winners at Seattle. We got 24 points of coverage
That one was
there.
a laugher.
It was.
Yes.
Which, ironically, for the Shrewdness listeners out there, my initial take was like, Buffalo's going to travel all the way across the country. Seattle's a tough place to play. I kind of think I'm leaning a little Seattle this week. And I'm like, but I've been wrong every week this season. And so the Shrewdness team here talked me. I was like, well, what's your second one? Atlanta, 2.5. So
there we go.
Yeah, there it is. And so then Lewis immediately came in and was like, who do you like? I love Buffalo. I think you're going to come in and just trap Seattle.
Right?
I was like, it must be correct. So, Shrewdness listeners, it pays off when I do not take my favorite
It looked ugly early. I will
ones.
say in your defense, for the first quarter, I was like a little bit dicey, and then after that, it was a laugher.
Then there was no dice anymore, and then
Keon Coleman
James
looks
Cook,
as good as I've been saying on this podcast all year long. Just
it's
get
true.
ready for Keon Coleman.
Much to
season.
Chisholm's chagrin, who does not like Keon Coleman, and you can go back a few episodes.
He looked,
the beginning of the season draft episodes.
Great. He looked great when he absolutely housed Tariq Woolen and then slapped him on the head and said, "Good rep."
Oh, I do like that
was
part.
Awesome.
Now that
and listen, let me be clear. I didn't dislike Keon. I said I thought he was going to be overdrafted. I thought he was overrated for his spot. He's having a good season, and I like him as a kid. He's a good kid. But
I would say in general, this has been as good of a wide receiver season as people projected.
Only on the Shrewdness we let the dogs in and out here, folks.
Let the dogs out.
I will say, last season everybody projected this crazy wide tight end resurgence. That happened this year. The big wide receiver resurgence, it absolutely happened. Super wide receivers this year.
It is.
Yeah.
All right,
so
that was
Coleman being like 6th, ironically, and he's really good. And you can he can still be the 6th best wide receiver in a really great draft.
That's a true story.
All right, let's get them picks going.
All right, so this week, let's go ahead and start off with Lewis.
All right. I've had some struggles. I got last week. I felt good about it. I feel good about this week, and it's a run to the smell, baby. All right, run to the dumpster. Dig your nose into that dumpster. You ready? Dallas always does what you don't think they will do, and Atlanta is overvalued. Totally overvalued. This is an easy Dallas -3, and I think you ladder them. I think this is one of those bizarre things where everybody's like, what the hell happened? Dallas probably wins by 10 in this game, but I think this is an absolute lock. At least take him with a -3 with a 1-unit bet, but I would probably ladder him up to like I said, up to 10. I think you're going to absolutely love this one.
So how are they going to stop Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson with that defense who hasn't stopped anyone all season?
They're going to stop themselves because they're not as good as people think they are. They are kind of a mess, and they have been a little bit on the lucky side.
All right.
Easy.
I just wanted to
I'm
defend
telling
the
you,
pick.
this is what's going to happen. This is what always happens with the Dallas Cowboys. They
very
do
true.
what you don't think. Last week, they were supposed to be more competitive. They were actually reasonably competitive, but I'm telling you, this is the answer. Follow me on this or don't follow me. Look, I got
Those
last
are the
week.
two options. Those are the two options.
I got last
Is there
week.
a
I
third
feel
option?
good. I
Can
feel
half follow
good
you?
about this week based upon my recent successes.
So Trayvon Diggs is going to shut down Drake London.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right, I like it. There's one for you, Shrewdness listeners.
All right.
Get off the right way. So go with Dallas. Go, run to the stink. Don't run to the
Run
favoritism
to the smell,
of
baby. Stick
Atlanta
your
at
nose
home.
in that dumpster and just
do it. Do
Get
it.
in there and ride the wave. All right, Pruitt, who do you got for us this week?
All right, this week I like the LA Rams over Seattle. Seattle's they are at Seattle is at home,
Public pick.
but it's been the line is swinging the Rams' way, and if you get them early, I think you can lock in a pretty nice bet. They have Nakua and Cup back, so they are offensively a lot stronger than they have been the last few weeks. And Seattle's struggled the last 5 games; they've only won one of those. So
By
sure.
swinging, it's moved 3 points. But yeah, it's swinging.
It's swinging.
yep. So
Oh, it's
get on
swinging,
early
baby.
before it keeps swinging, because
That's
it may
right.
end up
Still
at minus 3 or
swinging.
4.
All
Swinging,
right.
baby.
3-point
Chisholm.
swings, pretty huge.
Bring
by
us
the
to
way.
our
So-
third win of the weekend.
All right, so I started out really good this season. I've had 2 losses in a row. We're still up positive on the year, so I'm going to turn stuff. I'm tired of this crap. No more losing. We're done with the two-game losing streak. I love interdivision rivalry games, and
Ugh,
so
gross.
we've got Green Bay. We've got Green Bay and Detroit. I love it when the whole media is all in a narrative. And right now, Detroit is the greatest football team to ever play the game of professional football. And
Ever.
so they should absolutely roll Green Bay.
In the history of ever.
In the history of ever, they're actually that good. Dan
They
Campbell is
already
like
won
a
the Super Bowl.
genius.
this year,
He's a
Chisholm.
genius. He's a genius.
Dan
So
Campbell, Lombardi,
I-
the
he
Campbell
is.
Trophy.
By the way, Chisholm, did you see the press conference where they were talking about that they are picking
Interrupting
up
Cal.
somebody?
they're picking what?
They're picking up somebody, and he refused to say who.
Really? I did not see this.
There was are you guys going to be making a trade? And he starts hopping up and down and saying, maybe.
Really?
Look it
well,
up.
it's not Deontay Johnson. We
It's
know that
definitely
much.
not Deontay Johnson, but there's something happening.
My
It might be
money.
Go ahead
Dexter.
and throw
I bet
this
it's
out.
Dexter Lawrence, man. I'm gonna throw my. If he's that excited, the only team that has a big player left that make me jump up and down is Dexter Lawrence.
Max
That's
Crosby.
tradable.
I'm just warning you that this
he doesn't wanna
happened,
leave, though.
and it was kind of a big deal.
Max Crosby would be a pretty big get.
That'd be
if they
huge.
could
Well,
do
so would
anything to
Dexter
get him.
Lawrence.
Yeah, it would.
They need-
I'm going to
I
go with Barry
Hutchinson's
Sanders.
Barry
Hutchinson's
Sanders.
a D, yeah.
All right. So to finish your thoughts,
so
though,
to finish my
or-
thought, I like interdivision games. Green Bay is gonna play tough. They're a proud
I
team.
only like
they get
interdivision games if you're taking the bad half, in which you are, which is fine.
I'm taking the bad half plus 3.5.
They're at home.
They're at home. It's in the frozen tundra. Hopefully, it causes Detroit a little indoor outdoor trouble.
yeah,
and I
60
think Jordan
degrees is tough.
and I think
I gotta say, when people are like, "Oh, the Chiefs are playing the Raiders," and "Oh my God, the Chiefs are so much better," I'm like, if you never watch a Chiefs Raiders game, I hate that whole throw out
And
the
Broncos.
records. I hate
And
it.
Chargers.
I hate
Right.
it. It's like I'm just
Right.
ready for all kinds of garbage nonsense to happen.
yeah, but I'm telling you,
it is a 3.5. So when that
It's a
last
3.5.
comes,
I
and
love the
Detroit
hook.
wins.
I don't
I
think
do
they're going to
love the
lose
hook.
by
I
more
like
than
taking
3.
The rough side. I like
I-
taking the rough side
I-
in a interdivisional match.
And I think Jordan Love plays. So I think
it's a strained groin. Expectation is he's going to play.
I think he's going to play, and I think that he's going to make him hang tight. And I think that this is a pride game for them, and I think they want to show that Detroit's not all that. So I like the 3.5. I may actually sprinkle a little money line. So there's that too. So
Yeah,
that's the lock.
That's my main thing. That my pushback on this one, Chiz, is if Love doesn't play, I don't think Malik Willis keeps this game close.
It's fair. That's fair.
And right now, we don't know if Malik Willis is playing or Jordan Love. If Jordan Love's playing,
You would have said that.
like the
but
line
Malik
slides.
Willis played 2-3 games, and they
I
were
know he
fine.
did, but he wasn't. I
This is
understand
the
what
coaching-
fine
this
is, but
I think LaFleur is legit. Like I
Yeah, I do
actually
too.
believe in him.
I just think Detroit's going to beat Malik Willis
I think that's true.
soundly.
If Malik Willis is the starter, I'm not going to money line for sure. But
You still fine with 3.5 Malik Willis?
I think if Love's out, that line's going to balloon higher, and I probably would still take the points.
yeah, but you got to
All right.
wait until Friday for that bet.
Yeah.
All right, so fair
Green
enough. I
Bay's-
just wanted to give our listeners
But
like
I think
full
he's
context.
going to play. It is a groin
I do too.
strain, and there's no real damage. He's likely going to play.
I think they shoot him up in the boy parts and he plays.
Yep.
It would have to.
Green Bay's
All
gonna
right.
win that game or stay close with their defense. They're gonna
For
rely
sure.
on
Which
Jordan
their
Love
defense
less than
was
anything.
absolute garbage, and then they just like in the last 2 weeks have been fine. It's like they went
Yep.
from like absolute garbage to fine, which is impressive. That's a
Yeah.
D coordinator like
Yep.
knock.
I like that game.
They're figuring it out. All right, Dex, what do you got for us?
Final Shrewdness pick
For the 4-0 sweep.
for the 4-0 sweep, round robin it, parlay it, do the 2 first, 3 first, teasers, straight bets, bring it all home. And you're going to I don't know if I like this bet. That sounds like too many points. I don't know if they can do that, Dex. I think, what the hell are you smoking? You're on a 1-0 runner after your 5 in a row stinker. I don't know if I like the way you're I don't know. I think I like this. Well, whatever. And like Lewis says, go with me or don't go with me.
Screw you, taxpayer!
That's right. We are going with Cincinnati minus 7.5 home against the Las Vegas Raiders. But Dex, God, Vegas even stay within 7 against the Chiefs. Like, why on earth would I
Divisional
think they
game.
can't hang with Cincy? I'm like, well, because Cincy got embarrassed by 20 last week. Even more so, Dex, they lost by 20 last week. You're an idiot. True. I'm not good at betting. These are all facts. But the thing is, I'm going with what I don't think should happen at all. I want Las Vegas plus 7.5. So I'm taking Cincy minus 7.5. They'll probably,
Yes.
it should work. I don't
You're
think this
learning.
should work.
You're learning. I love this.
I don't think this should be the bet at all, which is why I'm doing it. And I think since he comes out, I hope, and T. Higgins plays.
Not a
Chase-
public bet. Love it.
Not a
Jamar
public bet.
Chase, I think Burrow is embarrassed. I think he's just absolutely, he fell off the MVP talk after last week.
Yeah.
You don't lose 20 points at home against a crappy Philly team, and then no way. So I think we're gonna have a little bounce back.
Game, and the Raiders just absolutely suck outside of division.
In
Outside
Gardner
of division,
Minshew,
they are a college team.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
Put
thing.
them
And I think
against the Chiefs, the Broncos, or the Chargers, and they look competent. Outside of those games, barring that weird Ravens game, I
the
got you.
Ravens.
Again, I still don't know what happened there. But
Hey, wait. Speaking of the Raiders, let me show you my my Antonio Pierce impersonation. Ready?
I don't know if you froze or if that's just what it is.
No, that's just what it is. It's the whole game. Oh,
Yeah, it's Mexican internet is Antonio
how did
Pierce.
I get this job, and how am I keeping this job?
Oh my God. I can't believe I'm still here.
Again, I have a sneaking suspicion that the Chiefs were trying to
Kept
lose
it
last
close. Kept it close so Pierce keeps
week. They were
his
like,
job.
"Can you please win this game so you can keep your job, Antonio? Like this is our hope. But you're so bad you can't win this game to keep your job." They handed
here
it to
we'll give you the ball the 3. Here. Oh,
Yeah,
dang it!
Field goal.
We're gonna
Here
lose
comes
to
the
you
field
on
goal
this one.
unit.
Ah! Oh, it was super close. Keep Antonio as your head coach.
All right. So our 4-0 recap picks for this week. We've got Lewis giving you Dallas plus 3 at Atlanta. Run to the smell because everybody wants Atlanta, including me, which is why it's going to win. That's why it's going to win. Los Angeles Rams minus
I feel
1.5.
so good about this one.
Minus 1.5 at Seattle. So Pruitt gave you that winner. Chisholm gave you the winner, despite not knowing who's going to be the quarterback of this game. But Green Bay plus 3.5, home against Detroit. He doesn't care. Frozen Tundra. He's
That's
going to
right.
money line this thing anyway.
That's right.
Win or lose, it's happening. Green Bay plus 3.5. Take it to the bank. And then I'm giving
That's
you
right.
Cincy minus 7.5. No way can they do it, which is exactly why they will. They're going to come
Right.
out. We're going to see 400 yards from Burrow. We're going to see Jamar Chase 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins 2 touchdowns. Gesicki's going to
He's
walk
going to
it
absolutely
backwards.
play. I promise he's going to play. I promise he's going to play.
And this will be the week T. Higgins tries to earn a contract. Oh, it does look like that. He's got the Michael Myers stance. All right. So for Halloween, right on top, here we go. So Cincy, Green Bay, Rams, Dallas, take it to the bank. Let's get a new yacht next week. Here we go.
Love it. Boom. We bring the boom. I'm telling you.
We need a couple good weeks to get us back over the hump. We're still
it's coming. It's coming. We just been treading. Just treading water.
Year, but
just treading water.
We finished every year over 50%.
We're going
and
to.
we shall again.
We
That's
shall.
Right.
We're due. We're due.
The goblins have many enemies.
That's right.
All right.
But
All right. I'm going to wrap
9 or
this
10,
up.
whatever this is not one of them.
We've had a lot to talk about, clearly.
And a lot to drink.
And a lot to drink, too. And a lot of heavy editing is going to be necessary this episode. But I'll get her done. Well, thank you to all you Shrewdness listeners out there who have joined in to listen with us this week and every other week. We appreciate your support. Please like and follow on your favorite social media platforms. And that allows us to give you more stellar content like you.
And
heard.
share.
Share this with your friends.
And if it's a Guillotine fan that doesn't know about our show, let them know, because I believe we're still the only Guillotine-focused podcast out there. And that's our niche. That's our wheelhouse. That's our moat. So let them know, because people need to win and keep their heads on.
That's right.
That's right.
We can earn you some big-time dollars in your
That's right.
fantasy
Straight cash,
leagues.
homie. Straight cash.
All right. Anyway, thank you for joining us. This is the Shrewdness Podcast. Signing off.